I suppose if the optics didn't look very good, for instance, I was about to make a decision to spend a whole load of money, but I didn't want it to look bad. I didn't want the public to know we're about to spend a huge amount of money on the never, you know, the national debt. Anyway, here, please boot the whole like button. You see, the national debt isn't particularly well calculated for the United Kingdom anyway. It's favour for the government. But Rachel Reeves wants to go a step further. Yes, she wants it to look even more favourable, or to try and fool the public into thinking that the national debt is not as bad under Labour than what you, well, it actually is. Yeah. Okay. You think I'm kidding? I just think this is deception. But although I don't 100% disagree with her, as long as they're being open and honest. But will they be? It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just a way to actually make it look like the national debt isn't as big or growing as fast as it actually is. Now, what am I on about? Now, Rachel Reeves will announce at the International Monetary Fund a plan to change Britain's debt rules. Oh, okay. That will open the door for the government to spend up to another 50 odd billion. Well, they were advised that they could spend up to 80 billion on debt. The never, if you know what I mean. This is only going to be for infrastructure projects. Now, if you borrow money for infrastructure, you would assume that that is an investment. An investment should bring money in, hence jobs actually provide the infrastructure at Cage, for instance, but also jobs for facilitating that infrastructure. You know, so basically the money does, well, filter down somewhat to ordinary people, you would hope. Unfortunately, in the United Kingdom, we've got this habit of investing, well, in foreign entities to invest in the UK. Yes, subsidies, for instance. We've got a habit of handing out money to get money. That's basically what we're going to be doing again. We're going to be paying huge amounts of debt on infrastructure projects that we are most likely, like we have done for under Labour and the Tories for a very long time, on projects facilitated by foreign investors. Yeah, can you see the issue here? Yeah, we've got an economy which isn't an economy that is circular in any means whatsoever. In other words, it comes back around to the ordinary folk. You know, that so-called trickle-down economy. It's just, you know, up and out and abroad. I wonder they wanted Brexit. Anyway, now, after weeks of speculation, the Chancellor will confirm at the Fund's annual meetings in Washington on Thursday that the next week's budget, is that today? Next week's budget will include a new method for assessing the UK's debt position, a move that will permit the Treasury to borrow more for a long-term capital investment. It's still debt. It's still got to be paid back. We're still going to be paying the same amount of bloody interest. Bond values and all that, you know. We're paying more interest back now than we ever have done before. I did talk about this before. I can't remember what the actual, something stupid amount of money every year. It's like 80 billion every year we pay us in interest. Some crazy amount of money. Maybe someone can confirm that for me. I can't remember what it actually is. But it's a huge amount of money. Just an interest. What could we do with that money? Just an interest alone. Now, their original plan was growth. Growth. Where is the growth? There is no blooming growth. And while we've got Brexit, we're going to have no growth. But we're stuck in that quagmire. We're stuck with the Brexit, especially for the foreseeable future. So that ain't going to, magically be turned around and have a single market and customs union and all that. No. If it's even possible. There's rules, you see. Oh yeah, what about Switzerland? They got their deal. What about Norway? The EU doesn't want that kind of deal. They did an experiment with Switzerland, and they've regretted it ever since. Bloody nightmare. Switzerland's never blooming happy. They really ain't. They're always trying to renegotiate and squabble. It just makes the EU's life a flippin' hassle, you know? Who wants that? Nobody wants that. No. So, yeah, so basically what's going to happen is the change to the debt rule will be welcomed by the IMF apparently because they have actually talked about this before, and they say that spending on UK infrastructure projects should be ring-fenced as the government seeks to repair the damage to public finances caused by the pandemic and the cost of living crisis. Okay, no mention of Brexit. We already know Brexit's cost the country probably in excess of 400 billion, and well, huge amounts of money obviously as each year passes and we can't trade properly. Don't forget, you know, even today, even with Brexit, we are, well, trading 47% of our trade is with the EU. And it's not cheaper. It's more expensive now. So there's less profit. I keep saying this, less profit, less profit, less profit. If there's less profit, there's less money. Plain and simple. Otherwise you're treading water. What's the point of all this? We do need growth, but we need the money to facilitate it. Maybe, okay, maybe encourage or even force the super rich out there to invest in the United Kingdom and ring-fence that money in the United Kingdom, not foreign asset holding companies and stuff like that, so they can just flip and offshore the profits. No. Make a responsibility that a certain amount of their income has to actually go into maybe infrastructure spending. And it could be in the form of creating new businesses. They'll win as well. And maybe that money has to be spent, you know, the profits have to be spent in the UK. They like spending money, so what's the problem with that? I'm not saying all their money. No, I'm saying some of it. To allow the country to prosper. And let's be honest, if the country prospers, so do they. Even the rich buggers get even richer. So isn't it a win-win? Sounds like madness to me. Just allowing this to go on and just increasing our blooming debt and recategorising it just so it doesn't look bad. This is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Although I do agree it should be categorised, but it should still be listed as a part of our national debt. Because it is still a debt. Whatever you call it, it's debt. Now, Richie Sunak said in the past, he stood there, didn't he, with little old Liz Truss. It was like a ship he passed in the night. And he stood there with her, doing the, oh crikey, the hustings, what do you like to call them, and said, borrowing should never be for running the country, effectively, you know. And you should only borrow money for investment, for infrastructure investment, which is not what they did. They literally borrowed shitloads of money during the pandemic, what have you, Brexit, for instance, shitloads of money, you know. But why don't they ever mention Brexit? This is in The Guardian, right? There's no mention of Brexit. The fact that we can't trade like we did once before, costing the country huge amounts of money, hence we don't have the money to spend. We don't have the profit margin, yet they don't mention it. They mention the pandemic, and they mention it. The Guardian's gone the same way as the blooming BBC. In fact, I see more mentions of Brexit in the BBC these days than I do in The Guardian. Oh, I'm going to have a hernia. I am, yeah. I've already shot the cat and put it on my head. Blimey. So yeah, so Reeves is about to announce a major change to the fiscal rules, releasing 50 billion in spending. It's not releasing 50 billion in spending at all. That is bollocks. That is 50 billion in borrowing, for which they'll spend. That's not releasing money, that's borrowing money. Other people's money, and those other people are going to expect that money back at some point with interest. And the whole world have gone blooming mad at the moment with borrowing. The US flipping over, was it 30 odd trillion they got in debt? That's proportional of their, you know, that's more than they turn over. Their GDP is 23 trillion. And national debt is way over. And that is set to go high. Obviously, when if Kamala Harris gets into power, that's likely to go up higher. If Donald Trump gets into power, that's likely to go up higher. They're going to want funding for their projects. And that's the same with any government that comes into power. The national debt always, it doesn't come thrown straight away, it generally always goes up. But if you're a Tory, it goes up for 14 blooming years. Our national debt was 700 odd billion when the Tories took over, and now it's over 2.7 trillion. And they're supposed to be a safe pair of hands with the country's coffers. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? No. Anyway, you tell me, please leave it in the comments down below. And should I resuscitate me cat? Leave that in the comments down below. But if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us coffee. The links are down below. I couldn't do the channel without your support. At the end of the day, I still have to live. You know, got dogs to feed. I have. But also, we're doing a rewilding project on our land over here that we are, where we're planting loads of trees and making animal habitats and stuff. And also on another piece of land on the other side of the house, it's about 2 hectares-ish, maybe a little bit more actually. But we've got to plant around 1,000 to 1,500 trees. And if you want to be part of that, there's a link down below. If you follow that link, you can make a little contribution, and we'll plant a tree or trees on your behalf. And I'll make the side to go with the tree. It can be a loved one. It could just be, well, just your name if you like, or it could be a present for Christmas. Your name, you know. We're happy to do it, and we'll make that sign using the laser and what have you. I'll put that with your tree. Anyway, it's time for me to go. I was going to say toodaloo, you know. But please, comment down below. Hit the old like button. Helps the channel, you know. Toodaloo.